KRS-One is probably my favorite rapper. Not probably. KRS-One is my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
KRS-One started saying like, Harriet Tubman freed the slaves at night in 1726. And I'm like, God damn. I never heard. And think about it. Nobody ever. I don't give a fuck. Rock and roll, jazz. Nobody started giving actual facts. Niggas was saying fight the power. And niggas was saying black power and I'm black and I'm prep that. That nigga gave me information.
Yeah.
He gave
right.
go look it up bar.
Right.
And he changed my life because it's not a feeling. He gave me information that I could verify. I could go look it up and see if it was true or not. And he changed my life.
A man who once lived on the edge, homeless as a kid, drifting through streets, digging through trash for food, and sleeping in parks with no idea what tomorrow would bring, later became a voice that shaped hip-hop history. Before he was known as a freestyle force, KRS-One was surviving day to day with nothing. No money, no home, just struggle. But by 2026, everything flipped. He rose into a major figure in hip-hop, building a multi-million-dollar empire and turning a small 1,855 square foot place in New York into a private space for his child. That level of wealth feels unreal, wrapped in quiet luxury and tight security. From survival to power, the shift is huge. How does someone even make that jump? Before fame, before teacher of hip-hop, before Lawrence Parker meant anything, he was just a kid surviving fear in New York's toughest streets. Born in 1965, he moved between Harlem and the Bronx, areas known for poverty and violence. His mother worked as a real estate secretary, raising him alone after his father was deported when he was a baby and disappeared. That absence shaped everything. He later said those early years felt calm compared to what came next. His mother remarried a man who seemed official, but behind closed doors, he was abusive, turning home into fear. After that relationship ended, his mother got involved with another man, but nothing changed. The same chaos and violence stayed in place. While she focused on that, KRS-One was out in the streets, gone for days or even weeks, only coming back when he had no other option. At 16, everything broke. After a heated argument, he left for good and became a homeless teen in New York. He moved non-stop, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, just trying to survive each day. Nights were rough, sleeping anywhere just to escape the hunger for a moment. Food was barely there. Sometimes all he had was a 25-cent bag of chips, and once it was gone, so was any comfort. Days without real food wore him down, dry skin, cracked lips, barely recognizing himself. He searched through trash to stay alive, finding leftover food and eating it on the spot. His clothes stayed dirty, worn non-stop, feeling stuck. After 6 brutal months, he was near death. Then someone stepped in and got him into a Bronx youth shelter, giving him a roof and a way forward. At the shelter, he met Scott Sterling, later known as DJ Scott LaRock, a social worker who changed everything. Their connection was instant, turning into a DJ and MC duo that formed Boogie Down Productions in 1986. That's when things took off, hitting the scene with raw energy and a message people couldn't ignore. Their debut album, Criminal Minded, in 1987 shook the culture, but success came with tragedy. Scott LaRock was killed while trying to break up a conflict.
Even when I had South Bronx and Bridges over, I was still homeless. I was sleeping on the train, and South Bronx was out, and I would be sitting there like this. I'd be sitting there at the edge of the train, like, and people would have a boom box out. They blasting South Bronx. Yo, you hear this news? Yo, listen to this news. And I'd be sitting right there, because then there was no video, no magazine, because no, you put out a record, no one knew who you was. I'm like this. I can't smile. I can't frown. I have to be completely like just like this, because I don't want no one to know or see or even think this is me. The guy you think is large and all of this, he's right next to you, homeless, sitting on a bench, riding the train back and forth, no money, no nothing.
One moment ended his life and showed how close hip-hop and street violence really were. Still, KRS-One didn't back down. With By All Means Necessary in 1988, he pushed forward. The music got deeper and more political, putting real life in focus and placing him at the front of conscious rap. He brought strong Jamaican influence into hip-hop, mixing dancehall with rap to represent his roots. Then he took action, launching the Stop the Violence movement, leading to self-destruction in 1989, supporting groups like the NAACP, Growth or Contradiction. That question stuck. After Boogie Down Productions split, he didn't slow down. In 1993, Return of the Boom Bap hit hard with top producers. By 1997, I Got Next reached number 3, marking his biggest solo success, while Step Into a World stood out strong. He kept the momentum going, dropping projects, working with different generations, and expanding into film, ads, and global stages. His name carried weight everywhere, from clubs to major festivals, locking him in as a respected voice in hip-hop. And the money? It added up fast. Worldwide tours, packed shows, and constant demand turned his career into steady income that lasted for years. People even joked, "If you book KRS-One, be ready to pay." Not because he showed off, but because the price surprised people. Some claimed one night on stage could cost as much as a Rolls-Royce Phantom. That made it clear, this wasn't normal money. Stack that over decades and the total gets serious. But here's the twist. His wealth didn't just come from performing. It showed more when he stepped behind a podium. He wasn't just booked to rap. He was invited to speak at universities and events. Getting paid to teach added a new level of value.
The universe is a mirror. What you do to it, it is doing to you. What you say to it, it says to you. So if you say, I don't believe in no universal mind, the universal mind says, I don't believe in you.
While others chased flashy lifestyles, he stayed disciplined, avoiding big deals and brand logos. Instead, he built the Temple of Hip-Hop, a platform creating steady income through classes, programs, and community support. Then you've got lectures and events at universities, cultural centers, and global hip-hop gatherings, where the temple acts as a knowledge hub. Add books, teaching materials, and archived content from KRS-One, and you get steady sales that don't rely on hype. Merch stays limited and mostly sells at events, keeping costs low and profits tight. When it all adds up, estimates say the temple can bring in tens of thousands to a few $100,000 a year, depending on activity. It might not look flashy, but this is clean, low-risk income with strong margins. And the best part? It keeps flowing without constant effort while building his authority as a speaker. On top of that, KRS-One owns property in Park Slope, Brooklyn, about 1,855 square feet, plus over 900 square feet of outdoor space in a high-demand area. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a private basement, and a huge backyard. It sounds like a dream, but this is the home of someone who says he doesn't chase money. Inside, it's clean and refined, high ceilings, white oak floors, and natural light throughout. A chef-style kitchen opens into a laid-back backyard, while upstairs stays quiet with a polished, high-end finish. KRS-One has never revealed the exact value of his home, but places in Park Slope like this can reach around $14 million. That raises real questions. If he's not chasing money or big deals, where is it coming from? And the timing makes people look twice. Some estimates say he secured a place like this just a couple years after entering hip-hop. 2 years. In a space where most artists are still struggling, that move stands out. If that's not financial strength, then what is? But it gets more interesting. His private life stays tightly controlled. While his career played out publicly, his personal world stayed closed off in a way most artists can't manage. In a culture where people use relationships for attention, KRS-One moved differently. He's married, has children, but keeps it quiet. No scandals, no constant headlines, no non-stop posting. Just silence by choice. That silence felt even heavier in 2007, when his family faced a devastating personal tragedy with the loss of his stepson. No public statements, no turning it into music, no visible reactions. For someone known to speak on deep topics, that response stood out. It showed a clear boundary. Some things stay personal. That same mindset shows in his lifestyle too. Simple, clean, and far from flashy excess. KRS-One has never stayed quiet about flashy, pleasure-driven culture in hip-hop. He's questioned the obsession with money and excess, saying it can take away an artist's independence. While his lifestyle stays low-key, his message comes out loud. His views on politics, society, and morals have pushed him outside the mainstream more than once. He doesn't soften his words to fit in. He stands on what he believes, even if it means being misunderstood. That's a price he accepts to keep control of his voice.
He did something that was never done in music before. That would be done after, including myself, is people talk about the gamut of emotions, love, betrayal, sadness, whatever. Nobody had ever prior to him ever actually did factual historical dates, ever. So I don't care if you talk about gospel, whatever. People could talk, you could talk religion, you could talk love, you could talk shooting people, whatever, strip club. Start giving me dates. The first strip club opened in 1922 with the, you know what I'm saying? He started doing that.
Yeah.
And so that broke my brain because I'm a history lover. And so
Away from the spotlight, he moves differently. More introverted, he spends time reading, writing, and reflecting instead of chasing attention. He's not focused on reclaiming the top. He moves on his own terms. That's why his private life rarely gets picked apart. But in 1993, one moment at Sound Factory changed everything. PM Dawn was performing when tension with Prince B over the teacher title was about to explode. For most artists, that comment would have been just another media jab. But for KRS-One, it hit deeper. It challenged an identity built over years. Instead of keeping it quiet or replying through music, he took it straight to the stage. While PM Dawn was performing, KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions walked up. No warning, no permission. The mic was taken from Prince B, and he was pushed off stage. Equipment got knocked around, performers moved aside, and within seconds, the whole space flipped from music to chaos. Sound Factory turned into something else that night. What shocked people more was the crowd. Instead of pushing back, part of the audience followed KRS-One out. That reaction raised questions about his influence. His presence shifted the room. The next day, headlines hit fast, calling it thuggery.
KRS-One man's the only dude I ever seen that will walk in the room and change the molecular composition of the room of MCs. Because he'll go in the room with no matter what age and say, yo, who an MC in here? And everybody's like, nah, yo, I just work for you. I used to do it, but straight up and down. He'll go in the room and like, who's an MC in here?
But KRS-One didn't apologize. He said, I was just answering a question. I am a teacher of respect. In his view, disrespect had consequences. To him, it had to be handled right there. He believed that moment was the lesson, showing that in hip-hop, respect and actions are tied together. For many people watching, that explanation didn't land. When someone calling themselves a teacher uses force, the debate shifts fast. It's no longer just about right or wrong, it's about whether he could still hold that role. The culture split in two. Some supported him, seeing it as protecting the roots. Others felt let down, believing he stood for a more thoughtful path. That night showed his survival instincts were still there, ready to take over when pushed. Legally, he avoided major consequences. No prison time, no huge lawsuits. But the real damage hit his image. The teacher title no longer felt the same, and every message after carried that moment. His connection with part of the public never fully recovered. The Sound Factory incident wasn't a full fall. It was a crack. And in culture, a crack in your image can hit harder than losing everything. From then on, whenever he spoke about responsibility, people didn't just hear him. They remembered that moment, and it stayed attached to his name. Then 2004 came, and things shifted in a heavier way. No chaos, no physical clash, just words. But those words landed when emotions were still raw across the country. It had been 3 years since September 11th, and the pain was still fresh. During that time, KRS-One spoke at Columbia University, not as a performer, but breaking down power, inequality, and systemic issues. Then he made comments about the World Trade Center attacks that stunned the room into silence. It became a moment people didn't forget. Some believed he was pointing out a harsh reality, how communities pushed to the margins can develop complicated reactions to power. He wasn't praising loss of life. He was explaining a mindset shaped by exclusion and discrimination. To him, it was an analytical breakdown, not a moral stance. But that's not how it was received. Once those words left the room, they were pulled out of context and pushed across headlines. Suddenly, he was labeled in extreme ways. Some saw him as disconnected, others as dangerous. In the US, anything tied to 9/11 carries deep emotion, and backlash can come fast if empathy isn't clear. This time, there was no stage, no physical moment to shift attention, just words hitting public pain. KRS-One later said his message was misunderstood and never meant to support tragedy. But in moments like that, explanations can get lost fast. Emotion can outweigh logic, and here, it changed everything. The fallout went deeper than any earlier controversy. He wasn't just criticized, he was quietly pushed aside. Invitations slowed, major platforms hesitated, and the media stopped presenting him as hip-hop's conscience. From then on, every word he said was watched closely, not always to understand, but to avoid risk. The issue wasn't just right or wrong, it was his belief in speaking truth no matter the moment. But timing matters too, and missing that can hit hard. There are moments when society is hurting and even thoughtful analysis can feel cold. For someone known as a teacher, that misstep stood out. It wasn't about knowledge, it was about reading the room.
That influenced so much of me. And then the other part is, criminal-minded. KRS-One was always able to be extremely street. His truth, he was homeless, he did this. So he's extremely street, but extremely intellectual. They usually make them mutually exclusive in our music. The human experience is a lot more like you do other stuff. So people become these one-dimensional characters, and I love the fact that he embraced a lot of his fallibility.
After 2004, he kept speaking and teaching, but the audience shifted. Smaller, quieter, less reactive. The change wasn't loud. It was silence, and that silence carried weight. Think about the usual path. Liquor deals, brand partnerships, trademarks, and fast-scaling business systems. That kind of money is easy to see and copy. But KRS-One took a different route. He didn't chase what the market wanted. He focused on what he refused to become. From that mindset, he built a system where money wasn't the al-hadaf. It became a side effect of staying true to his values. For years, he moved outside the normal entertainment playbook. No chasing algorithms, no watering down his message to fit in. At times, he lost fans, deals, and opportunities just to stand firm. In most cases, that would end a career. But for him, it built a different kind of power, based on authority and long-term influence. Looking back, the real twist stands out. He didn't show that hip-hop makes you rich overnight. He showed it can give you a position money can't easily buy. He didn't walk into rooms selling something. He showed up to shape ideas and control conversations. That's a different level, and the industry struggles to label it because he never fit one box. He chose a harder lane: teacher, lecturer, critic. Those roles don't win massive attention, but they build lasting influence. You may not agree with him, but ignoring him is difficult. People ask if he could be richer playing the industry game. The answer is probably yes. But that would have cost him what made him valuable. He didn't follow trends. He built influence by staying original. He shows up, but not everywhere. He speaks, but doesn't try to please. That balance gives his moves real weight. His exact wealth might be hard to measure, but his impact is clear. He was never chasing approval from the market. No comeback needed, no media rebuild, no desperate push for relevance. He exists alongside his era, never controlled by it. That kind of position is rare and takes real discipline. If E40 shows success through expansion, KRS-One shows it through cutting things down. Smaller audience, fewer compromises, tighter control, and still strong at the core. When he speaks, it lands and gets a reaction. That kind of power isn't about charts or streams. It's about presence, being someone people can't ignore. He didn't prove hip-hop makes you rich. He showed you can stand outside the system and still matter. That might be the rarest kind of wealth. Quiet, but strong, built on staying true over time. If this made you think, hit like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts below.